Hello, this is Chris with Protect Your Children Incorporated. ProtectYourChildren.org is the website, ProtectYourChildren.org. Thanks for taking time to watch this video. This is very important. As some of you may know, we have been actively investigating the disappearance of 8-year-old Zachary Michael-Cole Bernhardt. He went missing on September 11th. Of 2000 out of Clearwater, Florida, under suspicious circumstances. The police seem to be not doing much anymore. They say that they're actively taking tips, but they're not actually doing any direct initiated investigative work. They haven't for years. So we've been doing a lot of work with the community and with the public and with some other amateur sleuths that are online. We're so grateful for them. A lot of people are working to get information out about Zachary's case and keep his picture out there, keep the facts going out there, soliciting more information so we can hopefully ultimately end up finding him and bringing some closure and holding those accountable that have hurt and destroyed his life. So we put together this video presentation. This is a summary of everything that we have. Almost everything. We're still in an active investigation. So there are things that we are not going to release in this video. There are things that we're not going to say on Facebook or anything out in public because we do not know who's watching these videos. We don't know if the people that are involved in his disappearance are watching the videos and reading our posts. So we're trying not to tip anybody off. It's kind of the same that the police do. The police will not talk to anybody except a couple of point members of the family for that exact reason, just because they don't know who they're really talking to or if they're compromising an investigation. So there are some things that we will keep to the vest, but this is overall many of the things that we have come across in the past 3 years. It's been a bit of a long video, but for you out there that care about missing kids, for you that are watching this, obviously you clicked on this because you have either heard of this case or you have a heart for missing children or you want to help bring Zach home. Now, it has been almost about 23 years, and automatically some people will click off right now. But don't click off right now. We're going to lay out in this video presentation here why we believe that Zachary is still alive, why we think he's probably not that far away from home, and why he wouldn't be coming forward. We're going to look at some very strange things that we have uncovered over the past couple of years. We're going to look at the 5 or 6 theories that are out there and ask you to comment on which one you think happened. Which one do you think is most likely? All right, so we can get your feedback as well. And certainly if you know anything that you think might be helpful to this case, maybe you knew Leah Hansen, that's Zachary's mother. Maybe you knew this guy Tim Elfman. He's the guy in Orlando that Zachary reportedly was staying with for a year when Zach was like 22 or 23. Any of the names that come up in this video, maybe you know some of those people. Maybe there's something that you can do to help out. Please comment or send us a direct message on Facebook, YouTube, or any of our other platforms that we're on. So, all right, let's get started. So Zachary Michael-Cole Bernhardt, 8-year-old, went missing 9/11/2000. Okay, there's a picture there of Leah Hansen, formerly known as Leah Hackett. Okay. Disappearance was Savannah Trace Apartments, Clearwater, Florida. 9/11 911 call. It's funny how we still say 9/11, right? 911 call placed at 4:47 a.m. He was in his mother's bed, according to her, when he disappeared. They were on a second-floor apartment. There was a small dog present in the apartment. That plays into this, as we'll see. There were neighbors that were awake and outside in the pre-dawn hours. There was a neighbor that was having a barbecue, had a whole bunch of people over, so they were up really late into the night, almost all night long, and that also plays into this. So the mother is Leah Hackett, okay? Married name is Hansen. She stopped cooperating with the police. I think it was probably less than a year after Zachary disappeared. She moved out of state. She got married. She changed her name. Then she went to another state, state of Hawaii. She moved back to Florida in December of 2017, right around that time, and currently resides in Orlando. The Amber Alert, interesting enough, was reissued in December of 2017. So they did the initial Amber Alert, of course, when he went missing. And then here we go. 17 years later, boom, here it comes to the phones, the billboards, they re-pushed it out. Usually they do that because they have a credible tip or there's been sightings or something. So this further encourages us that Zach is still alive. It obviously was enough information for the police to reissue the Amber Alert in December 2017. Now, I want to give a note here really quick, and I'm asking people to be respectful, okay? We're trying to stay away from direct allegations, okay? The public tends to do that. We are not going to accuse anybody. By law, we can't, and we also wouldn't do that. We're going to look at all angles, okay? You will know people's names. We're asking you to be respectful, not to harass those people. Do not go message them. Do not go knock on their door. Do not try to find out where they live. Let the police and the FBI handle that, please. We're asking you to do that. We don't want no harm to come to anybody involved, but we want justice. And the police and the FBI are the ones that exact justice. So please be respectful of the people that are mentioned in this presentation. So the mother. Now, June of 2020, Protect Your Children gets involved, okay? We start paying for recurring Facebook and Instagram ads and producing YouTube videos seeking information. Ads ran in Clearwater and Orlando mainly, in their metro areas, and the result was hundreds of comments from people. We communicated with two of Zachary's babysitters. We have continual communication with a member of Zach's family who will remain anonymous. We've communicated with a couple of neighbors of Zach's. Okay, that's very important. We investigated a potential lead in the Leesburg, Florida area based on a cryptic YouTube comment. And we're going to get into that comment now. Very strange, very odd. The commenter, the channel's name is Lee Berg, L.E. Berg, had a single playlist on his YouTube channel containing the song Gloria by the singer Laura Branigan. Ever heard that song? Now, that's like an 80s song, probably might even be a little bit older than that. But that's the words of the song are very interesting, and we're going to look at some of those now. Some of the lyrics of the song is Gloria, don't you think you're falling? Okay? If everybody wants you, why isn't anybody calling? You don't have to answer. You can just leave them hanging on the line. Oh, they're calling. Gloria, I think they got your number. I think they got the alias that you've been living under. But you really don't remember, was it something that they said? Ah, Gloria, how's it going to go down? Will you meet him on the main line, or will you catch him on the rebound? Feel your innocence slipping away. Don't believe it's coming back soon. But you really don't remember, was it something that they said? Are the voices in your head calling? I think you've got to slow down before you start to blow it. I think you're headed for a breakdown, so be careful not to show it. Now, if you think about this, and we're going to get into how this playlist came up. Think about this in the terms of a child who is hiding or running or has been taken, and it's almost like a kidnapper taunting, or somebody who's close to the kidnapping taunting. That's what we kind of see with these lyrics. Now, of course, the actual song's about a woman who's doing the night woman stuff, okay? But when you listen to the lyrics, it's very eerie when you connect it to a missing child. So Protect Your Children thought it was strange. The channel states it was created in Canada. But this person commented on a local Tampa Bay news broadcast about missing kids. That's very strange. Somebody in Canada, why would they be looking at missing kids broadcasts from the local Tampa Bay area? Very strange. The news broadcast included Zachary. The commenter said he is 28. He's an adult. Okay? Zach was the only he on the video. So this person says he is 28. He's an adult. There were all other girls on there that were missing kids. Zachary was the only boy. And this person from Canada feels like he has to comment about Zachary. Almost like hey, he's 28 years old, he's an adult, let him be, which we find is very strange. Okay, and then we go to his channel, this Leeberg channel right here, and you will see here that that playlist was removed. We're going to get into that in the next slide. But there was a playlist here along with the cooking one, the Trudeau's parodies, and then there was a playlist that said, "Hey Google, play Gloria." That's all it said. Protect Your Children realized that Leeberg may be a play on the town name Leesburg, which is 1 hour away from where Leah and other family members of Zach's live. Okay, so Protect Your Children runs an ad in Leesburg and surrounding areas. 2 days after the ad started running, Leeberg removed the playlist with the song Gloria from his YouTube channel. Gone. 2 days after the ad starts running in the Leesburg area, all of a sudden, the playlist is gone. Okay? We feel this is very telling of something wrong, as you'll see from some of the lyrics on the slide that we just looked at. Protect Your Children reaches out to Leeberg via YouTube and received no response. Protect Your Children hasn't came across any more comments from his channel on any other news broadcasts involving missing kids. Just on the one with Zachary. Is that a little strange? What do you think? Let us know. Is that kind of strange? Do you think that's just a coincidence? Or was the person trying to say something? Besides, hey, he's an adult. Leave him alone. So then on New Year's Eve, the following year, there was another boy that went missing from the same complex. He was kidnapped and then found alive crawling out of a dumpster about 90 miles north of Clearwater. Thank God he was found alive. Police do not believe the two cases are connected. With Zachary, according to the Clearwater Police Chief Daniel Slaughter, quote, there is no evidence of a crime, just a missing child. With the second boy, he was taken in daylight and in front of other kids, and then he was let go. So they're not really the same. They're really not. The situations are totally different. They don't believe that they're connected whatsoever. We have a different thought on that. We don't know if it's the same person, but well, we'll get into that a little bit later, but we think that there might be a reason that another boy was taken. Maybe someone was just emboldened, or maybe it was a distraction, or maybe it was to make it look like there was an actual problem in the complex. POSC was contacted by the mom of the second boy, and Protect Your Children had a multiple-day conversation about what transpired after her son was thankfully let go. Okay? She informed us that she sued Savannah Trace Apartments. This was because after Zachary went missing, they were supposed to do some security upgrades to prevent another child from being taken, and she says that they never did. So she's saying, look, if they had done these security upgrades, then her son wouldn't have been taken. According to her, this is very important, according to her, the lawyers for Savannah Trace Apartments argued in court that the security upgrades were not needed because Zachary's disappearance was connected to his family and unsettled drug debt. The argument continued that Leah had owed money to a drug dealer that was family and couldn't pay it. Leah was facing eviction in just 6 days. And there was a deal made that if she let someone else raise Zach, then her drug debt would be forgiven. That's what this is according to the second mom of the boy who reported to us that that's what the lawyers are arguing in court. Now, for the record, Protect Your Children Incorporated is not accusing Leah or any members of the family of any crime. I want to get that out there. The case against Savannah Trace was ultimately dismissed. Did the judge find that maybe there was some substance to it? Was there any credibility? What other evidence was presented to prove this theory, if you will, that the Savannah Trace lawyers were bringing up? We don't know. You know, those records are sealed. We're able to verify that a lawsuit took place, and this continues to be one of the theories of what happened to little Zach. So, Protect Your Children comes across a video about Zachary on a YouTube channel. The channel's name is Officer UFO. Sounds weird, right? Officer UFO. And there's also another channel, Officer UFO 1. He is discussing Zach's case And he states that a security guard friend of his, a former co-worker of his, told him that he knew Zachary from 2014 to 2015 in Orlando. The former security guard for Lockheed Martin in Orlando stated that he was asked by a friend whose name is Tim Elfman, you can see his picture right here, to remodel a garage into a living space. While working on the property on Broche Road in Orlando, he was introduced to a 22 to 23-year-old man named Zach. He states that Tim suggested that they all smoke sativa. After some hesitation, he agreed, so Tim had Zachary contact someone in his phone to get it. Later on, Zachary suggested that the security guard save his number for a future contact for more sativa. The security guard had another Zachary in his phone, so he asked Zachary what his last name was. This Zachary person responded, Bernhardt. Zachary Bernhardt. Then the guard responded. He said, Zachary said Bernhardt, and then Zachary quickly said, hey, I wasn't supposed to tell you that. And the security guard responds and says, why? And Zachary said to him, you mean you don't know? Don't know what, right? The security guard says, no what? And then Zachary says, no more, and the guard went back to working on the garage. They left it at that. The security guard tells Officer UFO that in March of 2018, he was watching ID Disappeared, which is the missing show, and they were featuring the case of Zachary Bernhardt. He remembered the Zachary from a few years earlier, and that Zachary said his last name was Bernhardt. Security guard states that he was not aware that the name Zachary Bernhardt was connected to a missing child until he saw the episode of Disappeared. He says that on March 7, 2018, he contacted the FBI and the Clearwater Police Department and told them about Tim and what had transpired. He says a detective played phone tag once with him and then never contacted him back. No one ever came by his house. No detectives came by to talk with him. They kind of just left it alone, according to the security guard. Now, in a strange twist, Timothy Elfman unexpectedly passed away 6 days later after the FBI and CPD were notified. So Tim passed on March 13th of 2018, and we say rest in peace. That is odd. Remember, Leah was facing an eviction in 6 days where her and Zach would be kicked out of their apartment. Then, security guard goes to the FBI and Clearwater Police, talks about Tim, and what happens? 6 days later, Tim's dead. Died unexpectedly. That's all the obituary says. Unexpectedly and suddenly. We find that very strange. Security guard stated that on one occasion he overheard Tim talking to Zachary on the phone. He was telling Zach that he owes him for him helping him and that he will do whatever Tim wants for as long as he wants, and if he doesn't, then Tim would tell Zach's grandma, Carol. It's Carol Bernhardt. Okay, this is according to the security guard. Now, we have not found anything to suggest that Tim knew Zachary was a missing child. In fact, everything we have read and heard outside of the security guard's testimony is that Timothy Elfman was a gracious person who was always helping people. It is likely that Tim was just helping out Zachary, not knowing he was a missing child. We can see that the timing of Tim's death is very strikingly odd. It's very strange. What do you think? Coincidence? 6 days? 6 days? It is interesting to note, and again, we're not accusing anybody of anything, that the address of Tim Elfman and the new address of Leah when she moved to Orlando in December 2017, about 4 months prior, they're about 15 minutes apart from each other. So Officer UFO 1 is the other channel, did a follow-up video where he interviewed the security guard. The guard's voice was disguised and no picture of him was shown. Protected Children also did a live broadcast with Officer UFO 1 on Zach's 30th birthday, which was December 18th, 2021. Officer UFO confirmed to us that he reached out via email to CPD, as Clearwater Police Department, to follow up on the information he had from the security guard. He said he got an email reply simply stating she is a woman named Leah, strange as that, would pass on the information, and then no further contact from the Clearwater Police Department. See, it does seem like the police aren't really doing too much to investigate these leads. Like, are they just writing it off? Are they doing actually any detective work? Have they spoken to Tim's family? Have they talked to neighbors? Did they just try to verify if Zachary was there? I mean, that's huge. If this is the Zachary Bernhardt, and he was staying with Tim Elfman on Roach Road in Orlando for a year from 2014 to 2015, and Zach went missing at 8 years old in 2000, then that means we have a 22 to 23-year-old Zachary Bernhardt still in Florida, alive. That's humongous, but still listed as a missing child. Then when Protected Children followed up via email with Officer UFO about what CPD said, he responded in an aggressive manner. He stated that he thought PYC was being pushy and that he was not looking for Zach and was not having anything more to do with it. CPD will not comment to anyone on this case except selected family members. Our contact in the family wasn't even told anything on this lead or the previous. Protected Children has no idea if CPD or the FBI did any research and follow-up of these leads. We just don't know. They won't tell us anything. We understand that. But at the same time, we're on the same team, but they just don't realize it, I guess. We have not found any reason to believe that Officer UFO 1 or the security guard would be making this up. Certainly, if they were, then they'd be hindering an open investigation and providing false information, as well as destroying the memory of the deceased man, Tim Elfman. All right, let's move on here. Now, this is very interesting. PYC was contacted about a traveling homeless man just over the Texas border in Mexico. You see his picture here. You might immediately notice a resemblance. Shape of the face, the same smile, the nose. Wow. All right, so we were shocked at the resemblance. Blonde hair, blue eyes, same smile, same long face, etc. PYC paid for a series of ads in and around the area where this man was seen. We received 100 comments from people that have seen and even talked with this man. A man had even given him water. The man would not say his name. This is the Mexico man, we call him, wouldn't say his name. And he told a couple of people that he was leaving the area he was in because he needed to be where people speak more English, and that he had to be careful because if he was caught by the authorities, he would be transported, his words, to America because people were looking for him there. Very interesting. He did not want to be brought back to America, he said, and we were told that this man is very kind, gentle, and sweet, and that he's not dangerous. This was also reported to the FBI and Clearwater Police Department. Again, we have no idea. Now, the local news did pick this up briefly and mentioned it after a few other channels had done a video about the Mexico man. And they said that the police have not given any comment on it, that they were notified about it, and that was it. So again, this is one of those things where, well, it would sure be nice to know that they did all their due diligence. That's for darn sure. So according to the news, when the family saw the picture of Mexico man, they were quote-unquote blown away by the resemblance. This is goosebump worthy right here. I mean, wow. And this was just a couple of years ago. Okay? Another channel on YouTube has said that they don't believe it is Zachary. Also, another amateur missing person group has said they verified this is not Zachary. Well, we are not convinced due to a number of factors that will remain with us for the time being. This other channel, I did talk with the creator. They do a lot of great work. They look into missing person cases. And they claimed that they identified this man as someone who used to live in California, which is interesting because, well, we'll address that a little bit later. And that they verified with this person's family, the Mexico man's family, about who he really was. And then I responded and asked just for at least a city or a town or a general location so we can cross-reference with some other information. The person stopped communicating. So we're not convinced at all. We feel that there is a strong possibility that the Mexico man is Zachary Bernhardt, and we are still investigating this angle and have plans to take another big leap in this in the near future. We continue to have connection with several people in multiple areas concerning the Mexico man, and we will do everything we can to protect this person and to rule them in or out as Zachary. Now, the FBI and CPD have been notified on several occasions about Mexico man, and as far as we know, they haven't been able to locate him or investigate any further. But what do you guys think? Take a look at the pictures. I mean, is this wishful thinking, or do you see a resemblance? Is it just us? I mean, it's to us. There's the blonde hair, the blue eyes, the nose, the smile, the same long smile, the curved chin, the long face, looks very similar. And you'd say, well, why would this person be in Mexico? We're going to get to that. Amateur sleuths online have been doing a lot of great investigative work. PYC has been doing the same with donations that we receive from the public. We feel that non-law enforcement has done more investigative work than actual law enforcement. We'll say that again. Amateur sleuths online and us have spent more time and money receiving information and getting leads than the actual police have been doing in the last 20 years. What do you say about that? But that's the truth. Zachary Hansen. We're going to get to this now. This here was located in 2021. Okay, and we did some digging into this, and the history of this person puts him in Kailua, Hawaii, okay, up until the end of 2017. November, December 2017 is when the address in Kailua, Hawaii, according to this check that we did, shows that this person was there till. Now look at the connections here. We got the same first name, Zachary. This person has the last name of Leah's married name. Leah's his mom, so it's Leah Hansen. This person's the same age as Zachary and lived in the same city as Leah and her husband lived until December 2017, which is also when Leah and her husband moved to Orlando, Florida. Could this be a coincidence? What do you guys think? Is this a coincidence? We say if so, it's a pretty wild set of coincidences. I mean, is it possible? Again, PYC is not saying that Leah Hansen has committed a crime, but is it possible? Yes. We feel that until Zachary is found, every angle, including family, has to be looked into. But imagine our faces when we came across this. Okay, now, on this listing, the middle initial doesn't match what would be Zachary's middle initial, and the date of birth is the same year, but different month and different day. This does not exclude this as a lead because of one of the theories about his disappearance that we'll be looking into in the following slides. So just keep this in mind, bookmark it in your head. Zachary Hansen. Okay. Now, before we get into the theories, I want to tell you that Zachary Hansen has previous addresses in California. Mexico Man has told people that he came there from California. Right? Just to throw that in there. So that's just another weird kind of a connection, okay? So you got same first name, Zachary, same last name as the mother, Hansen, same age as Zachary, same city as that of his mom and I guess her husband lived in Hawaii. That's crazy. And this person, Mexico Man, says, hey, I got here from California. Zach Hansen has previous addresses in California. There's a lot of little pieces there. Now, let's take a look at the theories. And again, we're not coming down definitively on any one of these. Okay, but we're going to put these out there and encouraging you, the viewer, to let us know which theory you think is most plausible. What do you think happened to Zachary Michael-Cole Bernhardt? What do you think? So let's take a look at some of the theories here. Let me grab a sip of water. All right. So theory number one. These are theories. Theory says Zachary was abducted by an unknown sexual predator that happened to be watching his apartment all night and waited for his mom to leave and leave the door unlocked. He then went up the outside stairs, found the door unlocked, went in the apartment, passing by a little dog, by the way, which remember from the first slide, they did have a dog. He went up the inside stairs to Leah's bedroom, grabbed Zachary, carried him down 2 flights of stairs, that would be the inside stairs and the outside stairs, to a vehicle, and left with him. Okay? There were neighbors awake in and out of their apartments to smoke and see friends off after a barbecue. Okay? Leah's car was reported not there at 3 a.m. and then reported back at 4:30 a.m. The 911 call was placed at 4:47 a.m. No one heard the dog barking or Zachary screaming. Okay? Now, we find this theory very, very hard to believe. I mean, is it possible? Sure. I mean, if somebody had been studying Leah, studying Zach, knew that she would get up and go for late night or early morning swims and walks in a 15-minute window, and that is her story, right? That she left to go for a walk and a swim for 15 minutes in the middle of the night, left the door unlocked, came back, took a shower, and then noticed in her room that Zach wasn't there anymore. That's her story. So, we think this is a very unlikely possibility as far as theories go. Now, Zachary's grandma, Carol Bernhardt, believes the predator theory wholeheartedly. She believes Leah, this is Leah's mother, believes her wholeheartedly. Okay? However, in a news broadcast when she was being interviewed, she said this in response to the interviewer saying, "This must be hard for you year after year. How do you do it? How do you cope every year, every holiday that Zach's not there?" And this is what the grandmother said. She said, quote, "The way I see it is, if you took my grandson to love him and raise him right, then good. But if you took him to harm him, then I hope he is with God." This strikes us as very, very odd, very strange statement. Okay? Protect Your Children, as well as many others, found this statement from Carol very strange. What sexual predator who lies in wait for a young boy, then kidnaps him, only so he can love him and raise him right? That is so far out of the mind, right? And Protect Your Children feels like this theory is the least likely to have happened. I mean, that's an odd statement. Now, again, is it just us? Let us know in the comments. Do you think that statement by the grandmother is understandable? Or do you think that's kind of a strange thing to say? Now, remember, she believes the predator theory. So she's basically, in effect, saying that this sexual predator who came in and kidnapped her grandson may have done it to love him and raise him right. Now, we understand the second part, that if he's being harmed, then she hopes he's with God so that he's not harmed anymore. I would have said that I hope he gets rescued, comes home, finds his way back, they give him away, something. But she says, hey, she hopes he's with God. So that's theory number one, the unknown predator kidnapping. Theory number two, Leah orchestrated a kidnapping hoax. Okay, this is a theory. Throughout Leah's time raising Zachary, they were continually evicted from places. reports are that Leah struggled with drugs, alcohol, and partying. These are reports. On September 5th, in 2000, just 6 days before Zachary disappeared. And just a side note, that is very strange, right? The guy in Orlando, Tim Elfman, right? The police get notified on the 7th of March about him and his possible connection to Zachary Bernhardt. Exactly 6 days later, the man dies. What does that mean? We're not exactly sure because we don't know the cause of death, but definitely odd. So on September 5th, 2000, just 6 days before Zachary disappeared, Leah was served with an eviction notice. It has been reported that Leah was a quote-unquote attention getter. Reports say that she had lied on multiple occasions to gain attention. On one such occasion, she had told one of Zachary's teachers that her mother, Carol Bernhardt, had died. However, she was alive and well. On another occasion, it was reported that she had told an apartment landlord that she had quote-unquote woman cancer. So she stated that she had breast cancer. The truth was that she didn't. It was also reported that she would have a quote-unquote sad story each time she didn't show up at work. So people would feel bad for her. Okay? Now, it has been reported in the news and other places that there was an occasion when Zachary was real little, that Leah had her little daughter's father meet her on a stretch of I-75 so that he can visit with his daughter for the weekend. She was going to drop her off with him. She had begged him to take Zachary as well so that she can go out and party for the weekend. The father reluctantly did take Zachary. Many days went by and Leah could not be located. A missing person alert was issued for her until she finally showed back up. A quote-unquote kidnapping of her son would be the ultimate attention getter, money raiser, and sympathy ploy. That's what theory number 2 suggests. What do you think? You think it's possible? You think that could have been what the case is? That she orchestrated a kidnapping hoax and she kind of really knows where he's at? But of course can't say anything now because she'd go to jail. Do you think that's possible? Theory number 3. This theory started online. PYC has found no facts as of yet to indicate that this could be what happened. The theory is that Leah sold young Zachary. Okay, that's the one we see online all the time. She sold him. She sold him for drugs. She sold him to support her drug habit. Okay, so reports are that Leah Hackett Hansen loved to party and wanted to go out all the time, and that she was always looking for someone to watch Zachary. There was a neighbor who would watch Zach, but there came a time where she couldn't watch him anymore. The theory says that at this time, Zachary became a burden to Leah, and that she would end up leaving him alone. Of course, when she went out, the theory states that she found someone online that she could sell Zach to for a lot of money, since she was due to be evicted in 6 days. This was a stressor that led to her selling Zachary into sex trafficking. So then she created the hoax of a kidnapping to cover up her selling him. Again, we're not saying she did this. This is what one of the theories is. Now, PYC believes that this is the least likely theory of what happened. Leah certainly had her issues and struggles, as people do, but from all indications, she loved Zach and would not sell him into danger, harm, or abuse. Despite her struggles, she always found another job and another place to live. And from what we have found, Zachary was fed, he was clothed, and he was taken care of for the most part. Also, he had family that was always willing to help take care of him. So what do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Do you think she sold him? Do you think she orchestrated a kidnapping hoax? What do you think happened so far? All right, we got a few more theories. Let's take a look. Theory number 4, Leah killed young Zachary. This is the other one that you hear about. The theory is that Leah got tired of raising Zach and wanted to go have a party life, or thought that she couldn't give him a good life, so she killed him to be free of the burden of raising a child. Now think Kaylee Anthony's story. If any of you were watching this, you probably know that story with Kaylee Anthony. That, still burns me when I hear about it. Now, PYC strongly believes that this is not what happened. Okay, here are some reasons why. Number 1, there was family ready to step up and take him in to raise him. Okay, aunts and uncles plus Grandma Carol Bernhardt. They would have taken Zachary in if Leah couldn't take care of him. They would have taken him in until she got on her feet. There would have been no reason to kill him. Okay? Number two, as laid out in previous slides, we believe there is strong evidence that shows that Zachary is still alive. Okay? The YouTube comments, the Orlando situation, the Zachary Hansen. I mean, these are all things that could indicate that he is still alive. If the reports of her drug and alcohol struggles are true, she still raised him for almost 9 years. Despite those struggles, she could have killed him years before, but instead tried to raise him. Okay, it's a point. Now, the Clearwater police have stated that there was no evidence of a crime in the apartment. There was no signs of struggle. There was no evidence of a weapon found. There has been no body found. The dogs didn't pick up Zachary's scent past the outside stairs leading out of the apartment. No evidence was found in Leah's car. So there's just nothing to indicate that she killed him. Zero. Just nothing. Okay, so we don't really feel that this is what happened to him at all. What do you think? Let us know. All right, two more. Theory number 5. Now, this theory came about because of a couple of reasons. Okay, this theory is Leah owed drug money. This is where things get interesting. Okay, this theory came about because of a couple of reasons. One, Leah's alleged drug use, and two, the lawsuit against Savannah Trace Apartments. Remember, we talked about in the previous slide, by the mother of the second boy kidnapped from the same complex and recovered. The theory says that Leah owed drug money to some dangerous people that she couldn't pay. The theory goes on to say that she was being personally threatened, and threats against Zachary were being made to her. A deal was made that if she brought Zachary to the people or arranged it in such a way that someone could come and take him, then the drug debt would be settled. Okay, PYC feels that this theory could be plausible, but not likely. Okay, here are the reasons why. Number one, there is no evidence to suggest this. Straight up. There's just nothing to indicate this at all. Number two, Leah had held jobs on and off for quite a period of time. Number three, she had attended parent-teacher conferences and even set up a school carnival to help out at Zach's school. Why would the drug people want a child that the whole country would be looking for? Now, that part's interesting because if this was the case, and it's a theory, right? If this was the case and she owed drug money and some deal was made that they could have Zach, why does she turn around and stage a kidnapping, right? I mean, now maybe in her head this would bring attention to, and make them bring him back. But who knows? It could also get him killed. So this just doesn't make much sense, okay? Number 4, former babysitters that we spoke with stated that Leah was going out all the time, but when she was home, she took care of Zach, and they never said that they witnessed or heard anything of threats or trouble with people at the apartment. Okay, and number 5, she never appeared to be quote-unquote strung out on any kind of hard drug that would have expensive costs connected to it. There's nothing to indicate that she owed a whole lot of drug money, or that she was so strung out that she couldn't take care of him. There's nothing to indicate that. Okay, so that's theory number 5. What do you think? Is it possible? Let us know. All right, finally, theory number 6. The family arranged Zachary's disappearance. Okay? Now, this theory states that certain members of Zach's family arranged for Zach to be taken from Leah. PYC in our communications with a family member have been told that when Leah told family about her approaching eviction, a couple of the family members were very disappointed in her, as there had been multiple evictions leading up to this one, and said to her that they wanted to raise Zach right and love him in the way that he deserves. Now, that's very interesting. Remember Grandma's statement? If someone took her grandson to love him and raise him right. Okay? Now, the reports are that this is what the family said, that they wanted to take care of him so they can love him and raise him right. Okay? And in the way that he deserves. Leah reportedly got angry and stated that Zachary was her son and that she was a good mom and no one was going to raise him but her. Just like that. Not going to happen. Okay? The family, now being at a crossroads, would have had to make a decision for the best interest of Zachary. That would be to let him continue to go through struggles with Leah or find a way to get him away from her without her consent. Okay, the theory is that the family knew someone that they thought would love Zach and raise him right. However, the person turned out to be evil, an evil person who instead exploited Zachary and used him in sex trafficking to make money and then refused to give him back. They threatened to expose the family members if this went to the police. Okay, the theory states that it is possible that Leah became convinced that Zach would go with this person for a while until she got on her feet. Again, this is just a theory. If Leah wasn't involved, then the theory states that the family arranged to have Zachary picked up from the apartment. The family members possibly took part in this, which would explain why there was no screaming, there was no struggle, or the dog wasn't barking and going crazy because the dog would have known the person that was coming in the apartment. An indication that Zachary was reassured that he was safe to go with them could also be why there was no struggle. Then when Leah returned from being out, Zachary was gone, and she called the police at 4:47 a.m. to report him missing. If Leah was involved, then the theory states that she left the apartment with Zach and brought him to someone. Now, it is interesting to note that the neighbors did report her car being gone from 3 a.m. until around 4:30 a.m. Then she returned, comes up with a 15-minute unlocked door, swim, walk story, and called 911 at 4:47. Right? Okay. This is the theory. The theory indicates that this person would get him away and hide him while she played out the kidnapping for money and attention. Now, Protect Your Children finds part of this theory very plausible and other angles to this not so much. Would someone actually agree to this crazy plan? Sadly, well, yes. If money was involved or a number of other factors, someone could actually go along with it. We've seen worse. If Leah or family was involved, then Zachary could never show up again, or they would go to jail. A black market, quote-unquote, adoption would fix this. If you guys aren't familiar with a black market adoption, that is basically where you find somebody online or some way that's connected where they can basically give Zach a new identity. Let's just say they could change the month and date of and the day of his birth. They can change his last name, right? And complete with birth certificates and everything. Okay, it's almost like a legal adoption where everything changes, but this is done off the books, but everything looks absolutely official. Then that birth certificate can be used to get an identification, and Zach could go on living under a different name, an alias. Okay, remember the song Gloria? That's what was weird about that, remember? I think they got the alias that you've been living under. Okay, so a black market adoption would fix this. Zach would have a new name, identity, and location. He would always know who he is, but would never come forward in order to protect his family members, including his own mother. That's the theory. So what do you think? Is that plausible? Could that have happened? Now, why doesn't Zachary come forward? Okay, PYC strongly believes that Zachary is alive and is living off the grid, quote unquote. Many have asked, Zach is now 31 years old. Why doesn't he just come forward and say he's not missing anymore and then go on with his life? Okay, PYC feels that there are a few reasons why. Number one, fear. If Zach was exploited in the sex trafficking industry and either quote unquote aged out, okay, or escaped from it, then he has information that could get people locked up. Powerful people with money and connections. He or his family could be killed. That would be a good reason to stay in hiding, right? Fear. If this had actually happened to him, if this person had, in the previous theory, had exploited him and got him involved in all of this, then he knows a lot. He knows, and he could easily get a lot of powerful people in trouble. And so that could be one of the reasons why he wouldn't come forward. Number two, false guilt, false shame, and fear of prosecution. Now, whatever happened to him growing up, and potentially other illegal things he was forced to do, may have filled him with shame and guilt, though it is false. Nothing was his fault. The fear of being arrested for illegal acts committed would also keep him, quote unquote, off the grid. Remember Mexico Man? Yeah, I need to go where people speak more English, but I can't be brought back to America because people are looking for me there. That's basically saying people are looking. I can't go back there; they'll still find me. What does that indicate? Could it indicate sex traffickers, drug dealers, or the police? Maybe it's the fact that he knows he's missing and people are looking for him, and he doesn't want to be found. So there's many things that tie together throughout these theories and our investigation in the last 2 to 3 years. Okay. Now, number three, protecting his mother and other family members from going to jail. If we're saying if, we're not accusing any family member of anything. If theories 5 and 6 are true, then Zach would stay in hiding in order to protect his family from prosecution. Okay, that's just the reality of it. If he comes forward, he's going to have to explain to the police where he's been for 23 years, what's happened, how did he end up missing, what do you remember. Easier to stay in hiding, right? That could be a reason. Number 4 is Zachary may be hooked on drugs or mentally disturbed from everything that he has been through. This can keep him trapped and running from his traumas. That's a very good possibility. You know, I mean, we know about the sativa situation. If that Zachary Bernhardt, if that story is confirmed is true in Orlando with Tim Elfman, then Zach was smoking weed. All right, weed's not really going to screw him up totally unless it leads to other things or he becomes a more drug addict and on other stuff. I mean, it could certainly get worse. Not that we're endorsing people smoking weed, but just for the sake of the argument, he could have gotten involved in some really bad stuff and be addicted to drugs or be mentally disturbed. It's a good possibility. Now, Zachary would 100% not be in any trouble for things he may have done. However, his family could be, and PYC, again, is not accusing the family of any crime. We have reason to believe that Zachary is online, that he's on social media under an alias, and that he may actually be seeing these videos. And that's why we want to reassure him, if he is, that he is not going to get any trouble. It does not matter what has happened. They are going to look at what this kid has been through at a young age, and it's going to explain whatever took place in the later years. So he's not going to get in trouble. Okay, now, of course, his family would. He doesn't have to speak up necessarily, but the family would certainly be looked at, scrutinized. I mean, this case would be ginormous if that's actually what happened. So those are some reasons why he just doesn't come forward. Okay. Now, how you can help Zachary. This is important, okay? Protect Your Children feels that Series 6, okay, that was the last one, is most plausible, okay? This is based upon hundreds of comments that we have received. Also, it explains how Zachary is still alive today and had possibly lived in Orlando and maybe even Kailua, Hawaii. Theory 6 would explain the YouTube channel comments and the song from Lieberg about Gloria. It would explain the strange statement on the news from Grandma Carol Bernhardt. It would line up with reports of Leah's alleged drugs and alcohol and partying lifestyle. It would explain Zachary not showing up for 23 years. It would explain the complete lack of any more police-initiated investigation into his disappearance because no one is talking, so they have no information. Now, again, these are theories. We're not accusing, we're just saying theories. What theory do you think is most likely? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Which one do you think is most likely? Now, you can help Protect Your Children find Zachary and hold those who ruined his life accountable. How? I'm glad you asked. Number 1, you can like and share this video so more can be aware and be informed about his case. Number 2, you can comment your thoughts and connections that you've made in your head. Maybe you kind of, you think of an angle we didn't think of. Maybe there's a connection that you said, hey, did you ever think of this? Let us know. Let us know, okay? Number 3, you can private message us with any information you think may be helpful. If you don't want to put something on in the public or on a video, you can send us a private message. You can do it through YouTube. You can do it through Facebook. You can do it through our website, protectyourchildren.org. Okay, you can send us a private message through Instagram. You can send us a private message through TikTok. Okay? Heck, you can even send us a private message through Rumble. Protect Your Children Incorporated is on all those platforms. The links are available on our website, protectyourchildren.org. The other thing is you can make a tax-deductible donation to Protect Your Children and specify it for Zach. Okay, you go to our website, you click Donate to help protect children. There's a notes field. When you go to submit the payment, you can put for Zach. That money will be 100% used to promote videos like this, to create more videos like this, and to boost it on social media so that it gets out to thousands and thousands and thousands of people. That tax-deductible donation, you'll receive a receipt for it, will help us to get the information out and be even closer to bringing Zachary home and holding those accountable that ruined his life. Okay? Listen, when we boost a post on Facebook, for example, we do a post about Zachary. It says, hey, here's the pictures. Guys, keep your eyes open. He might be in this area. We have 5,000 followers on Facebook. We're talking maybe 100 people might see it at its max, okay, out of 5,000. We boost that post for, say, $100 and run it for 5 days, and all of a sudden 30,000 people have seen it. That's the difference that boosting a post makes, okay? We are not for profit. We don't sell any products, okay? We're not grant funded at this time, so everything that we do is through the donations from the public. So consider making a tax-deductible donation today. Specify for Zach, and we will certainly apply that to continue and to look for Zach. And again, to make a donation, you can visit protectyourchildren.org, protectyourchildren.org. Thank you. We know this was kind of long. All right. We are not stopping by any chance. We're going to continue to look. We still have things we're following up on. Honestly, there is a couple of angles that's being held up because of money at this time. You know, we want to do some more investigation into the Mexico angle. We want to do some more investigation into some other angles around Orlando, but it's going to require money that the directors just don't have right now. And donations are at a very minimum. I want to say we've received maybe $100 in the last year. That's it. So, I mean, we want to continue to do more work and get this out and help locate Zachary, but we need your help to do that. And also, our website, protectyourchildren.org. There's an in-depth protection guideline on there. Please, parents, read this and go over it with your kids. This is complete protection on how your kids can be protected from child molesters and predators online and in the community. How to do parental controls, okay? Eye-opening stats. There's videos on different protection topics. There's podcasts that we've done. There's an animated series called Talking with Topher, okay? About a 9-year-old Stitch-like character who's navigating life through school and everything else, and he's avoiding predators and he's identifying warning signs. Great for kids to learn. There's so much stuff on our website, protectyourchildren.org, that you can review and go over with your kids to help keep them safe. All right, please like and share this. This is the only way. You know, the algorithm does respond on all social media platforms. The more it's viewed, the more it's liked, the more it's shared, the more they push it out. So please like, subscribe, share, follow us on social media. Again, all of those links are located on our website, protectyourchildren.org. And we just continue to pray for Zach. Our heart breaks for him. I mean, this precious, beautiful 8-year-old boy, God's gift to Leah. And his life was upended and rearranged and pretty much destroyed through no fault of his own. And that's an injustice that we can't just turn our heads on. And we hope that you won't turn your head on it either. So again, thanks for watching. Visit protectyourchildren.org. Until next time, this is Chris with protectyourchildren.org.